Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Get Crackin' on Christmas. I don't know, it's a whole dance now. I can't say it. I can't just say, get crackin' on Christmas. I gotta shimmy with it. Welcome to Get Crackin' on Christmas, November 2022. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I know it always creeps up on me really fast, but I can't believe it's almost the end of November. But no stress, right? No stress. Let me know in the comments where you guys are watching from, if you're watching live, and if you're going to be creating tonight. Give me some of the details. So Get Crackin' on Christmas is a series I do all year long, and I always share my card on the third Thursday of the month. My lives move around a little bit depending on my schedule. But it's my way to encourage you and me. It started to encourage me to get cracking on Christmas, to work on my holiday cards all year long. And then that way I won't be as stressed as it's now the end of November because I've got a good stack of cards. And I also can justify buying all the holiday things, which in my world is usually snowmen and snowflake things. And I just have more fun taking time and like playing with different techniques and playing with different supplies. And it's just more enjoyable for me. So I've been doing it for a few years now. I love that you guys all come along on this journey with me. It's always around this time of year where everybody is like, well, not everybody, but a lot of people comment and they're like, I really wish I joined you all year. I'm going to join you next year. So just so you know, if you're saying you're going to join next year, I'm writing out my list of people to watch for. We will be doing this again starting in 2023. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Yay. Sharna says she's at her desk, but she'll see if she gets anything done. Hey, you've taken the first step, Sharna. You've taken the first step. Hello, 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 everybody. I hope you feel better soon, Crafty Tooth Fairy. Darcy's from Minnesota. She's behind this year, but she's going to try to make cards with me during my lives next year. Yeah, so a lot of the times people think that they have to make the identical card to me, or the identical card of what I'm making, but really it doesn't need to be what I'm making. It's more just, hey, come hang out with me. Listen to me chit chat and share how I made my card. And at the same time, work on your project, whatever that is. Just pretend we're at a crafty retreat together and sitting across the table from each other and just hanging out, right? Don't feel like don't be like, oh, I don't have that stamp set. No, it has nothing to do with what I'm making. Make whatever you guys would like. Ooh, Liz has some panels stamped out with jellyfish ink to play with Shari's cool technique. Cannot wait to see that. Cannot wait. Yay. Yes, I had to throw the rainbow sweater on today since it's going to be a rainbow card. Let's see. Hello, Jen and Lindsay. Yay, yay, yay. Glad you girls are here. Awesome. All right. Well, let's get this party started, you guys. Full confession, because you know me, I just lay it on out there. I was up till 3:00 in the morning. So I'm a little tired tonight, but I knew as soon as I hopped on live, I would be good. But sitting on the couch just now, like with a little blanket on, I was like, oh my gosh. But I'm good now. I'm good. I feel the energy. I feel the excitement. So all of the supplies are listed, or the main supplies are listed in the description of the video. I also pinned at the top of the chat a comment that has a link to my blog post. All of the supplies are there as well. I will tell you, I wrote my blog post very late last night, hence why I was up till 3 a.m. But anyways, and this stamp set was in stock at the time at Simon Says Stamp. So I'm guessing some people were enabled to go shopping today because it's out of stock. However, I just quickly peeked, and at Newton's Nook, it is in stock. So you can get it directly from Newton's Nook. It's called Cup of Cocoa, and they're having a sale right now. So you could just, throw the snowflake stencil in there too. Janable alert, Janable alert. Okay. Jamie's working on her Thanksgiving cards. I love it. I love it. As always, whenever I color with Copic markers, I share the swatch list on my blog posts. So you can swatch out your colors, whatever coloring medium you're using to try to color with similar colors. But we're just going to dive right in. Hello. I think it's Vini from Australia. So happy that you're here with me live. So, again, the stamp set that I'm using tonight is Cup of Cocoa by Newton's Nook. I love Newton's Nook's designs. Jennifer is the sweetest, and they sponsor all of my virtual and in-person events. And of course, Newton, which was her cat, who sadly is not around anymore, but Newton, all of the Newton sets, for years, I've been coloring them to look like Mr. Harley. So a lot of you guys noticed that Mr. Harley did make it on the card today. My kitty, one of my kitties. And for my purple loving friends, I squeezed on some purple onto this rainbow. I just want you guys to all be very, very proud of me. There's actually red too. Purple and red, you guys. I don't know. I don't know what was happening. But anyway, so I've already pre-stamped and die cut, which I wanted to show you. Hold on one second. I'm trying to grab my ink pads without moving my computer. So I already pre-stamped and die cut the images out of Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. It's alcohol marker friendly. I could have stamped it on watercolor paper and it would work with watercolors as well. This is really the only black ink pad I use when I'm coloring in images. And then later when we go to do the sentiment, I'll be using VersaFine, but that Lawn Fawn Jet Black is my fave. So I've already pre-stamped and die cut the little images that we're gonna color tonight. So I'm just gonna take them out of here and set everything else aside. And I am going to use a piece of the Best Ever Craft Tape. This is by Spellbinders. And this is what I use to hold my dies on to the cardstock when I'm die cutting. But what I'm going to do now is use it to hold my stamp images so that when I'm coloring, I'm not having to hold on to such a small piece. I always, it's a low tack tape, but I always just kind of wrap it on my hand to get some of my oils on there too. So it's a little bit less tacky. Now I'm going to be real smart and put these in color order on my tape because again, lack of sleep. I know there are a lot of you Team Purples out there. And so I thought of you when I was making my card. I was like, I'm going to make them so happy. So happy. Jen is reminding everybody to give a thumbs up to the video. I would appreciate that. And if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you do that as well. I'm always bad at remembering to say those things. YouTube's still a newish thing to me. I'm not a YouTube pro, that's for sure. Can't do it all. Can't do it all. So now that I have this on tape, I have a larger area to hold on to when I'm coloring. And this is what we do for all of my online classes as well. No worries if you're just hopping on. We've just been chatting. You haven't missed anything yet. We're going to just start diving right in to coloring. So I did a whole rainbow thing. And so I love to do this monochromatic within one image. So all pinks, all reds, all oranges, and putting it together. I just love how it ends up looking. So we're going to go ahead and start with our pinks. So for that, I'm going to be using 3 different pinks. RV14, RV13, RV21. And I'm going to just start coloring. So I always start with the darkest color first. And the question is, do you have to heat set the jet black? You do not need to heat set it at all. I just stamp it and color. Aw, Sharna's son is downstairs making her a birthday card. Happy birthday, Sharna. That's so sweet. So sweet. So yeah, you do not need to heat set it. You just stamp it and you're good to go. The only thing that I've noticed with any ink pads that I use, honestly, is in the peak of our humidity season, so July, August, I do sometimes have to stamp the image multiple times, so using, a stamping platform. But this time of year, I honestly just need to stamp it once and it's good to go. All right, I'm just rolling up my sleeves a little bit because they're getting in the way. So I want my cup to appear round or have a curve to it. And RV14 is the darkest color we're going to use. So I'm only going to use a little bit of it, but I'm putting a little bit on the left and the right side. This back rim, I'm going to just do a very thin line along whatever's in that cup. Coffee, cocoa, spiked coffee, whatever. And then I'm also going to do a thin, very thin line in the inner handle of that cup. Okay. And then I'm going to jump right into the RV13. So I'm going to take that and little dabs, little circles, whatever you want to do along the edge of the RV14 continuously in one small area until you don't see the line from that previous color. Okay? The cardstock's getting saturated so that the 2 colors can blend together. And I work in small areas because alcohol-based markers are made out of alcohol and alcohol evaporates quickly. So we want to make sure we work in a small area so we're not having to work harder to saturate things. All right. Ooh, cold and windy Nova Scotia. So you're just above me, Melissa. Snowy Colorado. Okay, everybody with the snow, just keep it. Keep it, keep it. I don't want snow. Don't want it here on Cape Cod. Nope, not ready. We have had such a beautiful fall, you guys. So when it comes, I just need to remember that. But I wish it could just continue. I really do. All right, so now that I have this blended, I'm still working with that RV13. Because I went over and over with the RV13 multiple times, I built up layers with the RV13. So that color got darker and darker. So it's not like a true version of itself. So what I'm going to do to get that true version is I'm going to extend the color out a little bit more, but just like one layer. So I'm only going over it once. I'm not going to go over it multiple times. And you can already see the difference in the color. Don't worry about the awkward line. I'll fix that. Okay, and just kind of bringing that color in towards the center of the cup where we're going to make a highlight. Now I'm going to use the RV21. And I'm going to do the same thing, blending on the edges, saturating the cardstock so that the 2 colors will blend together. Now that I'm getting close, I want to try to leave a little bit of white, so I'll be able to do a 1 layer of this color so that I'll get a nice true light version of it. Along the back rim, I'm just going to fill that in one swoop. Same thing on the handle. Okay. And then I'll finish with the RV21. Like I said, just one layer down that center. While my cardstock is still damp from blending, I'm going to jump right back to that middle color, the RV13. And I'm just going to kind of flick the color out from the darkest point in towards the center. And that's going to smooth out any of those harsh, awkward lines that we might see. Okay. I forgot this bottom part here was all RV14. And then for the band around it, that's kind of the dashed line, I just trace the dashed line with RV13. And then I'll go over it with RV21. We're going to keep the scalloped band white because we're going to add glitter to that. So cute. Hello, Mary. Ooh, 37 in Atlanta. That's chilly for you guys. Chilly, chilly. Yeah, we're still doing okay. I've been doing my walks and it's been like the high 40s. So I've been okay wearing my hoodie still, no jacket. And then I just put a winter hat on just to kind of keep the cold out. So for the straw, I'm doing the alternating stripes with the lightest color. And then the other two stripes, I'm going to do a teeny bit of the RV14 on the left and the right. Very thin, 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 thin. And then I am going to fill this in with one layer of that RV13. We could just do one color on that straw. You don't have to be crazy like me. But you guys know, sometimes I do those crazy, crazy things. All right. Hello, Brianne. So now we're going to move on to the red cup. And for the red cup, I'm trying to remember what I used. I didn't write myself notes this time. I think I used R35 and RV14. So see how I snuck in red there, you guys? I made it even more pinky. So I am going to start with the R35. And same thing, a little bit on the left and right side of the cup. I love that. Melissa says that her and her friends got together and she got 30 holiday cards done. That's so awesome, Melissa. So awesome. That's the way to do it. That's kind of how I envision these Get Krackens on Christmases. If you're hanging out with us tonight or catching it on the live, you can kind of pretend you're among friends and we're all hanging out together. Not pretending, because we are, right? All right. I'm realizing I probably should have jotted myself a few little notes about my coloring, but it's all good. It's okay to switch things up. And now I am going to blend it out with the RV14. Goes by pretty quickly. They're fairly similar colors, so it doesn't take a lot of saturating of the cardstocks. Gotta really concentrate on these handles and the rims. I ended up having to use my good old white gel pen a lot when I was coloring these. So I envision I'm going to have to do that again in case I went out of the lines. Jen says that her and Lindsay are talking back at me at the TV screen. So even though we're not in the same room together, we are among friends. I love it. I hear that a lot from people who take my online classes too, whether they watch them live or on replay. They're often talking back to the screen at me. So that's great. As long as you're saying nice things, that's great. So I'm blending in with the RV13 and then filling in with one layer. And then I think I felt a little guilty. Well, before I explain that, let me just flick out some RV14 just to soften any of those edges that there are. There's actually not too many because of that big heart that's in the center. But what I was going to say is I think I felt a little guilty that this was supposed to be my red cup because I colored it with such pinky tones. So I did the heart in the center with my tried and true R29, R35. Oh boy, Tracy, it sounds like you're going to be busy. She wants just the images or completed cards. Yikes. You got a lot of work to do. So on the left side of this heart, I'm going to do R29. I'm going to be very good and go to bed after live tonight because I got a few things to do tomorrow to finish up and get ready for registration for my in-person Crop on the Cape that's happening on Saturday. It's an in-person event here on Cape Cod, and I'm very excited for registration to happen on my new site. So I just want to make sure I got everything situated. And then I blended out that heart with the R35. So cute. All right. Sharna says she always remembers, always thinks that she'll remember what color she uses. Yeah. I honestly often write myself notes, but I was like, yeah, it's rainbow. I got this. But I was doubting myself a little bit. But I think I used the same colors. I think it came out good. All right, so now we're going to work. I'll do all the drink parts and marshmallows and chocolates and all of that at the end. But now we're going to do the orange cup. And so for that, I used YR04, Y38, and Y17. Yes, Jen, you are going to have to start thinking of games. I actually have some thoughts on that. Remind me when I see you on Saturday. Jen and Lindsay, but mostly Jen, comes up with the game ideas for Crop on the Cape, and she organizes them and runs them, which I love that she does that for me. And even if you don't want to like participate in the games, they're a spectation that you're or spectator sport. You definitely want to be there to watch them because they're always so funny. I love it. It's a good time. All right, so I used YR04 and did some shadows in the polka dots. And then I think I'm going to do a very thin line on the inner part of this handle. Some of my colors, I just gave my R35 a new tip, and it's magical. And so now some of my other colors that are more loved, I'm like, ooh, I should give that one a new tip. So I think I'm going to have to do some spa day for my Copics as things wind down a little bit before the new year. That's the great thing about the Copic markers is you can, refill them, change the tips. They truly are a lifetime marker. So I'm blending out the edge of that YR04 with the Y38. And now I'm just going to finish filling in the polka dots with one layer of Y38. And often with oranges, yellows, sometimes pinks, the lighter colors, I like to jump right back in with my dark and add it kind of back in again while your cardstock is still wet from blending. This way you usually don't have to blend again because it's going to kind of seep in. But it just gets that definition back in there that you kind of lose. Oh yes, Melissa, you should come on down. We're not far from you. Love, love, love Cape Cod all year. It's a great place to visit. And now I'm going to fill in the rest of the cup with just one layer of Y17, which is technically a yellow, but it's a pretty orangey yellow. And I'm going to finish out the handle of this cup, which you guys can probably see I really went out of the lines on that handle, but I'll fix it up. It's going to look beautiful. Yeah, Sharna, I'm assuming you have Copic sketch markers and you've switched out your broad tip to the smaller tips and you're loving it. It's so nice. It really is. I mean, you still want to have a brush tip, but it's really nice to have those smaller tips. So now I'm going to do yellow. I'm going to bring over that Y38 and Y17, and I'm going to use the Y15. The Y38 is just going to be an accent color. So the main part of the cup, like to turn my paper so that it's easier for me to kind of pull the color from the edge of the cup. So I'm going to take that Y17 and bring the color out from the edge. Hello, Nikki. The top part of the cup is going to be white. Everything that's white, we all know I'm going to be glittering all of the things later. I cannot make holiday cards without glittering. I can't make most cards without glittering. Who am I to kid, right? Then we're going to go ahead and blend out the edge with the Y15. This looks a little awkward at first with the pushback of the marker. Don't worry about that too much. We'll fix it up. More just concentrate on blending that edge. My Y15 needs a little drink of a refill. And then I'm going to fill in the center, one layer Y15. And now I'm going to quickly jump back in to my Y17 and flick that color out from the edge, and that's going to soften that awkward line and put some of that definition back in. The other thing too is to let your coloring dry. Let that alcohol evaporate to determine what your coloring is going to look like. Because sometimes it looks a little splotchy, but you really just the alcohol needs to evaporate, especially with lighter colors, and then it won't look so messy. Okay. The band across the center, I'm just going to do with this Y38. I'm going to go over it 2 or 3 times so it's a darker version of it. And then the straw, it looks like I just colored it with the Y17. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Oh, they do, Jen. I just did my nails last night with the new Olive and June. This is called Plaza. And then the gold flakes is called, oh shoot, I knew I was going to forget it. It's called, oh, Is It Too Much? Yeah, I knew it was something funny. I just couldn't, again, words are hard. Is It Too Much? So you just kind of dab those little gold flakes on. And I was messaging with Brianne last night when I was doing it. and she and I both agreed to just do a little bit on the tips of my accent nails. So yeah, Plaza and Is It Too Much? And Olive and June is having a really great sale right now, 25% off. So stock up, be enabled, start giving yourself at-home manis. I love it. It's fun. So Tracy's asking, I know I've asked this before, but I'm asking for my first Copics for Christmas. Woo, woo. Welcome to the world, Tracy. Which are the best to get first and where? So Tracy, I would go to my website, shirkus.com, and search Copic 101. You'll find my blog post where I give you the best starter colors for the rainbow. It's 50 colors. That doesn't mean you need to start with all 50 at once. Think about what you're going to be coloring. So if you're going to get them for Christmas, we're obviously going into Valentine's and spring. So you're probably going to want some reds and pinks and greens. Then, get into spring a little bit. For summer, you're going to want some blues. Or if you take my online classes, start with, a class and get the markers that you need for that class. You'll find that the more classes you take with me, the less and less supplies that you need, because I use the same supplies over and over. Let's see. Oh, that's awesome, Melissa. Thanks for sharing my tips and tricks with your friends. Jess is asking, where do you purchase the additional nibs from? I personally either order them from Papercraft Clubhouse in Connecticut, or I get them at Blick Arts. And I have a affiliate link for Blick Arts on my Janabler Faves page on my website. Annie says, are all of the colors you're using tonight on your 50 color list? A lot of them are, Annie. Almost all of them are. I'll tell you my quick little story about greens while I'm coloring. So tonight I'm using YG09, YG05, and you'll find on my top 50 list, you're going to find YG17 and YG23. Let me actually just grab them so you can see. So these are the two that you're going to find on my list, and these are the two that I'm using tonight. Not much difference, you guys. Not much difference, but I've been kind of sharing in my classes. I've been doing a lot of coloring these past couple years, especially with all of my online classes and coloring guides and things that I provide. And I kind of just got sick of this shade, the YG17, YG23. So I've been using the 09 and 05, but they're almost identical. So yes, almost all of you would be able to make this card with the colors from my top 50 list for sure. Okay. If I miss any of your questions, you guys, just because I am looking down and coloring, feel free to ask again. Putting the word question in all caps in the front really, really helps me. I'm pretty good at multitasking, but when I'm doing a lot of coloring and looking down for a bit, it's hard for me to see all the comments. So I'm coloring the inside of the cup with the YG09 and the left and the right side with that YG09. And I did a little bit, sorry, I'm off camera a little bit. I did a little bit on the inner part of the handle. And so now I'm going to take that YG05. And something about greens, I like to go over pretty much the whole dark with the light to get the two to blend together. You'll start to learn, you guys. The more you do, right? Everything takes practice. You'll kind of start to learn. Every color has a different personality. Some colors are harder to blend and you need to really work them. Some are easy. Greens, I just find I like to color right over that dark, but I'm still blending out the edge so I don't see a line from that dark. Okay. Hello, Donna. Oh gosh, Laureen, are you making 50 of the rainbow snowflake cards I shared? Ooh, pearlescent vellum, yeah. I have to start using that again. I think Lawn Fawn is able to stock it again. It was out of stock for so long, I kind of stopped using it so I wouldn't make anybody mad that you couldn't get it. But I think it's back in stock. So yeah, I got to bring that back into my life. All right, filling in the center with one layer. If there's any awkward lines, I'll just flick out. Flicking out kind of gives you an in-between color. And we'll get this handle done. Super, super cute. Oh yeah, white gel pen is my friend. And honestly, when I'm teaching live, I have to use it far more. The angle I have to sit at when I'm coloring on camera is different. All right, then of course we have a teal cup. We're not surprised there. And I am actually going to use 4 teals. I went all in this time. BG49, BG13, BG32, and BG11. For those of you guys that are maybe heading down the road to starting a Copic collection, or maybe you're on the fence, I'll just tell you that having Copic markers is definitely a lifetime marker. You will never need another kind of coloring marker. A lot of my markers that I'm coloring with tonight, I personally have had for 15 years, and I'm not exaggerating. And then I have a lot of extra Copics that I use in my in-person classes. Obviously, I'm not teaching as many of those at this time, but for a good 12 years, I taught a lot of in-person classes, and my Copics got very, very loved in class. And they're all still going strong too. You can refill them, change the tips, but they really are a lifetime marker. So it's an investment, but it's an investment that is definitely going to last you. So I just did the left and the right side and a little bit on the inner part of the handle with BG13. And so now I'm going to take BG32 and do the edge. I sometimes skip this BG32 and I just go right to the BG11. A lot of the times when I'm blending, you guys, I really do only use 2 colors. If it's a bigger area to cover, I'll do 3 color blending, but almost always it's 2 colors. Having a third color just sometimes makes the blend a little bit easier, but it's not necessary. And that's something else that I love to teach. I have full set syndrome on a lot of things. Nail polish, distress inks, lots of things. But I don't have full set syndrome when it comes to Copics, and I don't use that many colors. For the longest time, I only had like 72 markers. I'm up to like 120 right now, but I actually was going to go through them and see what ones I'm not using and see if there's better ones I could add to my collection, because there's just so many. And I'm kind of pointing to the left of me because they're all sitting here, but there's just so many that I literally never use. So don't feel like you need to have them all to have nice coloring. Yes, Heidi says she's had her Copics since 2005 and she just keeps refilling them. Yeah. I bet, Heidi, did you take the Copic class, the Copic 101 at the store where we included the markers and you guys were able to do payments? I think maybe you probably did. Lorraine says she did her first blending in a class with me and it worked great. Love the final look. That's awesome. Hello, Marie. Thank you so much. Megan says it's sad when I go to color blends and can even rattle the numbers off the top of my head. Yeah. So funny. Yeah, you don't need to replace a tip. Terry's asking if a tip totally dries out, do you have to replace before refilling? No, try refilling it first. Very rarely could you maybe have a faulty marker, so try refilling first. Heidi's answering you. She's a pro at that as well. So I'm using this BG11 and I'm adding a little bit of shadow to the right side of the snowman along the hill, the snowy hill. And by the way, I like this kind of snow. Like paper snowmen, paper snowflakes, I'm all about. I love them all. All right, so now my candy cane, we're going to make a teal candy cane, which I think came out super cute. So what I'm going to do is take the BG13 and I'm going to do a very thin line on the right side of alternating stripes. Very thin. Okay. Then I'm going to pretty much just dab that line with the BG32. Right? And then I'm going to dab and fill in with the BG11. So in 2023, you guys, I'll have my online Copic class. It's going to be a very thorough class going over all kinds of information. I think it'll be a good class for beginners. I think it will be a good class for people who have been coloring with them for a while. And we'll go over like refilling. We're going to go over it all. So definitely watch for that. And if you're not already subscribed to my email newsletter, make sure that you do that over on my website, shirkus.com. Yeah, I thought that you had done that, Heidi, that class. That was a fun class to do. Happy birthday, Dawn. Or Mila. Happy birthday. Sorry, I missed the part where you said your name was Mila. Aw, Nancy says she's doing the best coloring she's done since I taught her in a class in 2018. I guess I always need your guidance and reminders of how to color. Well, that's okay, Nancy, because I need you guys and your support. So I'm not going anywhere. I'll keep guiding you. But I'm happy that you're happy with your coloring. That's funny, Megan. I don't love the new refill bottles, but I'm kind of old school. I only have a very few of them because I had a good stock of the old bottles. But even if you have the old refill bottles, you can use them as alcohol ink as well. So I'm using this BG49 as the little buttons on the snowman and the little candies in the whipped cream. And then I did do his nose with a little orange. So I kind of strayed from my monochromatic look for that part. All right, then we're going to do our purples and our Mr. Harley. So those of you guys that don't know, I have 3 kitties, Mr. Harley, Gus Gus, and Jack. And Mr. Harley is on a lot of my cards. Gus and Jack are black cats, and they're just trickier to color. Like sometimes it just doesn't look right with the image. And Mr. Harley is a black and white cat, and it just works out better with the card designs. So don't tell Gus and Jack that they sometimes get excluded. But in fairness, Mr. Harley's been around for 14 years, and the other 2 are babies. So let's see. Oh no, Jamie. Your quickie glue pen is dry. Did you not glitter something once a month? Ugh, Donna, your glittering tools should have driven cross country with you. I'm just kidding, kind of. Well, if you need new quickie glue pens, I do stock them in my online shop. Got to make sure you guys can glitter all of the things. So I'm adding the shadow on this cup with the V15. Yay, Susie! I wondered if anybody was going to work on their holiday advent calendar from last year after we were chatting about it in the class group. Some people did the holiday advent class with me last year, but didn't quite finish their projects. So they're finishing them up for this year, and they've been sharing them in the class group. And some other people were like, oh, I still have to do mine. And I was like, well, join me for Get Crackin' and work on it. Or in December, do a day on the day or do a day before the day and then add it to your advent calendar. It's a really cute advent calendar kit I have for sale on my website with all Lawn Fawn images. Everything is all pre-stamped and die cut for you. I had custom heavyweight boards made for the pieces. You pretty much just need to supply your cookie sheet, color, and glitter all of the things. It's the cutest project. I can't wait to put mine up on December 1st. I'm so excited. So excited. All right, purple lovin' friends. There we go. We have purple. Well, Mary Sarah, this was very similar to like a class I would teach at Colorful Creations, and I taught it online, and the class is still available. If you want to sign up, kits are still available. All right, so Mr. Harley is a black and white kitty, like I was saying. Super easy to color. I know his markings by heart because, again, he appears on a lot of my cards. He has a lot of white on his face, and the black goes up into his ears a little bit. And his ears get really, really pink when he's active and like running around. I remember when I first got him as a kitten, he had super pink ears because he was super excited. And then he was kind of like chill. And his ears were so white and his nose was white and everything was like white. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you getting enough oxygen? Are you sick? And I figured it out. It's just his blood flowing. I'm one of those crazy cat mamas. Chris has to sometimes talk me off the ledge, but it's all good. All right, so we've got Mr. Harley on there. Did a little RV10 for his inner ears and his nose. Aw, thank you, Donna. Megan says she wants to make another advent calendar with all the other new cute sets this year. Megan, did you see in the class group how somebody put the Snowball Fight Lawn Fawn set along the bottom? I thought that was so cute. All right, so now let's do some marshmallow or some whipped cream and chocolates and all the things. So let me grab those colors. So the first thing I'm going to do is the cups that actually you can see the liquid in them. I decided to just stick with one brown, for that, one shade of brown. So I am going to do E59 for the shadow and then E57 to blend it out. Now these are very small areas, so you could just use one marker if you want. I always like to show you guys as much as I can show you, but if you want to kind of make it a bit simpler, that's totally okay. So I'm just doing a thin line of this E59. That's so funny, Nikki, that your kitty's ears get super pink when she's sleepy. I just figured it's because his blood isn't pumping as much when he's sleepy. Oh, he is such a character, that Mr. Harley. All right, and then I'm going to take this E57 and just kind of dab a couple times over that line and then fill in one layer. Super quick, super easy. This could be coffee, it could be hot cocoa, it could be whatever we want it to be. Okay. Sharna said, you inspired me to make my own patterned mug. Who am I masking off stuff and using 10 different sets? Are you using the same set, Sharna, and your mugs are like this tiny? I can't wait to see what you're making. Oh, yeah. I needed a break from the Advents. I used to do them every year and I just can't. It's a lot. It hurts my brain, the design work for them. All right, so now we're going to do our whipped creams and marshmallows and all of those things. So what I did is I just took the E50, actually just kidding. I took the E51 and I'm going to just go around and do like the shadow of these marshmallows. So just kind of where they're touching each other. And then on this one, the orange cup, I'm just kind of doing at the bottom of the whipped cream, the scallop of it. The yellow cup, I'm doing up at the top. All of this is with that E53. Then we've got the green cup. I'm just kind of following the form of that whipped cream. Same thing with the teal. And then what I did is I took the E000, and this is optional, but what I just did is just kind of dabbed it on the edges to just kind of soften those edges. So it looks like it's fading into the whipped cream, into the white, and it won't look like such a harsh line. If I didn't have this light marker, I would skip this and be totally okay with it, and it would still look super cute. And this is something, because this E000 is very, very light, it really saturates the paper, and so it kind of looks like a hot mess until that alcohol evaporates, and then it's going to look really, really cute. So don't freak out and think you ruined your colored image or anything like that, because you definitely didn't. Okay? All right, then we have our little, I can't remember what these are called. These little cookie stick things. I don't remember what they're called. But for those, I'm going to take the E57 and I am going to just trace the lines of the swirls. I'm going to go underneath the swirl and then along the right side. Okay. Hi, Libby. You're not late. No worries. This is super casual. Oh, are they cinnamon sticks? See, I was thinking they were like the, do you guys know, I think Pepperidge Farms makes them. Yeah, I guess they could be cinnamon sticks, but when I was coloring it, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking they were like those little wafer cookie things that are tubular, circular, with the chocolate on the inside. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Probably not. I probably made this up in my mind. But anyways, it's all good, right? So I'm using the E53, which is so much lighter than that E57. So it's a little weird blending. It's not going to blend the way you're like used to, but that's okay. I wanted the brown to still show because that's the chocolate on the insides. There we go. Oh, I don't know how. We have people doing T's and ENs and ELs. Pirouettes, Pirouels, Pirolines. You guys gave me 3 different ways to call them, so I'll have to look it up after. But I'm glad, Libby, you were thinking that too. That's just kind of what I envisioned. But it could be a cinnamon stick as well. But I saw the chocolate and I was like, oh, I think it's like those cookies with the yumminess on the inside. You know, all those dangerous things that we eat during the holidays. All right, so speaking of the chocolate bar, I kept that really, really simple. I am going to do just the outer edge with the E59. I'm a dark chocolate kind of girl. I like milk chocolate too, but I love dark chocolate. And don't ever give me white chocolate. That's like a waste. Dark chocolate, coconut. Yum, yum, yum. But so I'm just doing the outer part of these chocolate bars. I actually was just thinking Heidi is probably busy kitting for my Creative Journey Art Retreat. She's a local peep here on Cape Cod, and she helps me with kits for my events. And I think she has 5 cards that she's kitting 300 kits for, which I am so thankful. I did my kits for Firefly Farm. I did 3 cards, 90 of them. Whew. I don't enjoy kitting. It's just not my jam. All right. Pirouette. Yeah. Pepperidge Farm. See, I was right. I was getting there. Okay. Melissa says I only like white chocolate with peppermint bits. Yeah, like I could do a peppermint bark, Melissa. I'm with you on that. Donna's daughter agreed about the chocolate wafer cookies. Yeah, Heidi is busy kidding. Well, thank you, Heidi. Everybody that is doing the Creative Journey Art Retreat, give the love in the comments for Heidi. Heidi, Lisa, and Dawn are my busy kidders this time. So we've got everything colored. Let me just go ahead and zoom out. Look how cute. Now, you guys, like I said, total confession here, I go out of the lines all the time, especially when I'm live. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my Jelly Roll white gel pen, and I'm just going to color over it. And nobody but you guys are going to know that I went out of the lines. It's this magical thing that happens. Don't use your blender pen to try to fix these mistakes. Your blender, the solution that's in the blender pen is harsher, and it's just going to make a mess out of things. So just use a little dabs of white gel pen. Clean up your lines wherever's needed. And like I said, nobody will ever know. Just you guys and me. You guys and me. All right. Donna says, hand over all the dark chocolate. Yay, we got some people excited for the art retreat. Yes, dark chocolate mounds. Yep, York peppermint patties I love too. But those started, like, now that I'm older, they make my teeth ache. So Lori, I talked about this at the beginning, but I know you just hopped on. I guess I enabled a lot of people to buy this set today because it was in stock late last night when I was doing my blog post, but now it's out of stock because I must have enabled a lot of people, but it is in stock right now at Newton's Nook. It was when I started my live, and Newton's Nook is having a sale. I think you use code SNOW or something like that. So make sure you get your snowflake stencil that I'm about to use too. No, the color doesn't bleed through the gel pen. It does it just enough. I mean, if you're going to get a magnifying glass out and look, you might see, but it covers it just enough. And sometimes if you need to, I'm just talking little dabs. You know, I went out of the lines just a little bit. All right. Yay. Okay. Gosh, there's lots of you here tonight. Thanks for joining me, you guys. I knew once I got started, I would not feel as tired because I love teaching. I love hanging out with you guys and showing you stuff. So we are going to use the Newton's Nook Snowfall stencil. And if you don't know this about me already, I will buy all the snowflake and snowman things out there that are cute. It's just a given. So pretty much the same thing with mermaids. But and I just love the shapes of these snowflakes. I think Jennifer does such a great job. I don't know, they're like all poofy. I just really love them. So because I'm going to be ink blending, I'm going to use my Make Art Station. It's a magnetic board to hold my stencils in place. I put a little bit of removable adhesive on the back of my Distress White Heavy Stock, my most favorite paper to do ink blending on. And then we will get the stencil in place. There's really no right or wrong way. I just want to make sure that it's filling the whole background of the card. And the magnets are nice and strong, holding my stencil in place, and I can move them around when I need to. Let's see. Annie's confessing that she was Janabled and bought the set this morning. So she's one of the ones that snagged one of those that were still in stock at Simon Says Stamp. She's confessing she was Janabled. All right, so we're going to do ink blending. Of course, I'm going to be using my ink stands. I love these things. They hold your ink pads in place on your table so that you don't get inky fingers. I don't know if Brianne is still here, but she's the owner of the ink stands. They are no longer putting the magnets on the side of their ink stands, but that is something that you can do on your own. But in my online shop, I still have some of the ones with magnets. So get them while you can because they're not going to be around much longer. And then I'm going to be using my blender brushes, and I just have to show you, I use the Simon Says Stamp ones in the Layer Cake Blender Caddy. I'm actually going to go full screen for this. So this sits right on my desk so I can have my big brushes and my smaller brushes. And I actually keep my bigger bottle of L'Enfant glue in here upside down. And I put a 4-inch Lazy Susan at the bottom. So this just sits on my desk and I can spin it to whatever color brush I need. I love this, you guys, because it doesn't take up hardly any space on my table, which is good because I usually don't have a lot of space to share. And I'm just sharing some of these things, you guys, that I carry in my online shop because I know we're getting to the holiday season and you guys could ask all your loved ones to get you Creative Chick Studio gift cards and you could, you know, get all the things that you're Janabled for. Yay, Lori got her set. Glad to hear it, Lori. So we're going to do Kitsched Flamingo for the pink. And I'm actually going to turn my board so that it's easier for me to kind of ink blend in these little stripes. Yeah, so these are magnets, which is nice because then if you have multiples together, and I don't know if Brianne's still in the chat, but she could explain why she's not doing them anymore. But you could still add your own magnets when you get them. But like I said, in my online shop, mine still have magnets for sale until I have to restock. So you could still get them. Margot says she was Janabled as well. She loves the ink stands and the Tombow removable adhesive, and the binders are fantastic. Oh, I love it. You guys are great. So Angela, this set is in stock at Newton's Nook. I don't know when Simon Says Stamp will restock it. You can sign up for their stock notification. I don't know anything about any of the company's buying processes. So I'm using Kitsch Flamingo to do the edge here. And then I wanted to do a little bit of red, but because my cup is a pinky red, I wanted to use a pinky red. So I'm going to use Worn lipstick. And so I'm using regular Distress inks, not Distress Oxides, which you can totally use Distress Oxides if you want. But I prefer to use the regular Distress inks. I use them the most, honestly, because you get the most vibrant color from them. They're not muted or chalky looking. And I also just like the soft, translucent look of them. which is a little bit different look with oxides. Now, listen, I'm a lover of all distress things, but I do use my regular distress inks the most over oxides. Okay. And remember, you guys, I always just like to share my thoughts about things, but if you have different thoughts about things, that's totally okay as well. Next, we're going to do some spiced marmalade and some mustard seed. What I like to do when I start to kind of change color families, you guys know I always have a flour sackcloth in my lap. So I'm just going to rub gently the top of the stencil right on the edge just to kind of get any of that excess ink off. So when I start to go into the orange, it's not going to combine the two colors together. So we're going to do a little orange. And the trick with this is just keeping your lines thin. So I'm having a very, very gentle hand, which again is not my norm. I'm pretty rough when I do things, but I'm having a very gentle hand. So really, I'm just using that center part, that center top dome of this blender brush. And that's how I'm able to kind of keep my bands nice and thin. And because yellow is so much lighter, I'm going to do that same thing. Just kind of wipe the ink away from the edge where I'm going to be going in with yellow next. This is just when you don't want to overlap your colors or you don't want to taint them. Each color on this card is getting such a small area. I really want that color to stay true to itself. So I ink up my brush and I tap it off on my table. My table surface is glass. So I tap it off on a non-porous surface so that there's not a ton of ink on there. Remember, you can always add more. You can't take it away. So in this instance, if I want more ink, I'm actually just going to take it off my table instead of going back into the ink pad so it's not as saturated. Ooh, we might have a little bit more room for purple this time, you guys. We'll see. Don't get too excited just yet. We'll see. All right, and then green, I struggled with this. I was like, oh, should I do my good old, I usually do Twisted Citron because you guys know I like those bright colors. But I was like, no, I'm going to do Mowed Lawn. So I did Mowed Lawn this time. And then for the teal, I'm going to use Peacock Feathers. Again, I'm going to gently wipe the stencil with my cloth. I always, always, always have this cloth in my lap, you guys, or hanging on a drawer nearby. Let's see. Heidi says that she found the flour sackcloths recently at a local grocery store. She was excited. Yeah, if you buy your flour sackcloths, just make sure you wash them. They become more absorbent the more you wash them. It's funny, I was just talking to my friend Josie last night who makes the unpaper towels and beeswax wraps and all those amazing things. And her unpaper towels are the same thing. They're better the more times you wash them. They're more absorbent. So what's kind of fun about using this Mowed Lawn is where it touches the yellow, it does become that lime green that I tend to gravitate towards using. So I got a little bit of best of both worlds. Jen Nickerson. Purple! I sent her a text last night because she was so mad at me this summer when my pedicure did not have purple in my rainbow toes. Now, whenever I use purple, I like to let her know so she doesn't think it's all the time that I don't show the love to purple. It's just, sometimes there just isn't time for it. Ooh, look, there's going to be a lot of room for purple this time, you guys. But it also means I can put more teal, too. I was being very conservative tonight with my stripes because I didn't miss a color, right? No. All right, so we're going to do Peacock Feathers. And then we're going to do some purple, some wilted violet. Stencils are so great because they're really not that expensive and you can get so many different looks from them. I mean, this stencil would look so different even if I did just teal in the background, not rainbow colors, or if you spread a paste through it. You can get so many different looks. And again, not a super expensive item to buy, and you can use it over and over and over and over again. All right, so now we are going to use wilted violet. And we'll get that purple in there for you guys. I do love a good purple blend over teal. It's very pretty and very mermaid-like. I approve of that. It's not that I don't like purple. It's just usually there's not enough room on the card. Red I could be okay not ever using. But purple, I do like it. It's just I always want more room for teal. You know, those are the things you get to decide when you make your own cards, right? All right, now we get to do the reveal. It's always so fun. Yeah, this is a really pretty stencil, Heidi. Very pretty. Look at that. I love it. So, so pretty. And again, if rainbow isn't your thing for holiday cards, this could be all pinks and reds. This could be all teal, purple, whatever color scheme you want, you know? You could totally switch it up. So I'm going to do a quick cleanup with my stencil and my table. I just have some isopropyl alcohol in a mister bottle. Just give it a good mist. And then I'm going to wipe it with my flour sackcloth. The stencil, I kind of just dab because the stencil has all those little snowflake details. I don't want to snag them. You could totally rinse this under the sink as well. But when I'm just using inks, I just use the rubbing alcohol because it dries right away and it's clean and ready to go for my next color scheme or whatever it is that I'm doing. So yeah. All right. Now let's go ahead and get our sentiments stamped and embossed. So what I decided to do is I loved this background so much. I didn't really want to hide it with a white cardstock stitched rectangle. But if I just put all these cups on top of the snowflake background, it would look really busy. Like I can even just show you with what we just made. Like to me, that's just a little busy. You kind of lose the detail of those cups because they are on the smaller side. So something that I like to do often is I'll just use vellum because that's enough where I'm still able to see the background, but it's enough to give it a little bit of a pop for those little cups to pop off the card. So I die cut a stitched rectangle out of vellum. It's a really nice heavyweight vellum. My favorite is from Lawn Fawn. And I am going to do embossing for my sentiment. One, because then I don't have to worry about it drying correctly on vellum. And two, I just think it makes the sentiment stand out nicely. Let's see. Now Jen's going to be picky about the purple that I chose. Seriously, girl? I'm going to smack you. All right. So there are a lot of cute sentiments in here. It's a hot chocolate kind of day, hug in a mug, have a cup of cheer, cold days need hot cocoa, peppermint spice and everything nice, which that's what I did on my first one. But this one I think I'll do, it's a hot chocolate kind of day, just to have two different kind of cards going here. And I am going to still do it in the lower right-hand corner. And I always like to prep my paper with the Rabbit Hole Designs cottontail powder tool. Oh boy, remember you guys, I was up till 3 a.m. So this is going to take any moisture off of the paper. It's going to take any of that static cling off of the paper as well. And I'm going to do tricky black embossing. And by tricky magic, it means I use my VersaFine pad and ultrafine clear powder. I never use black embossing powder. That just honestly scares me so much. The VersaFine is a instant dry pigment pad. So it is technically a pigment ink, but it's not like our white pigment inks that we use. It's not as juicy. So what you need to do is I like to stamp it 2 or 3 times and quickly, and then get the powder on it right away. Okay, so it's kind of one of those things you do have to work a little quickly, but then you get the really nice crisp image of a VersaFine pad, which this is what I always use for my sentiments anyways, whether I'm embossing or not. And then I'm going to quickly get the clear powder on there. And once the powder's on there, you can take a breath and not feel like you have to rush before you melt it with your embossing tool. Okay. Oh, thanks, Sheila. I'm glad you guys are all enjoying this and you've been enabled. So another part of this Get Crackin' on Christmas is I am using it to justify the fact that I like to buy all the sets, but you just don't always get a chance to use all the holiday sets during the holiday season, right? Because it's so short. So if I am making cards, holiday cards all year long, I can justify buying more. So I have a bin of unused holiday supplies, and that's what I pull my whatever I'm going to use for the month for my Get Crackin'. I kind of go shopping in my own bin and give some love to something I haven't used before. So you can see I just quickly did, I wasn't counting, 3 times I think. And I'm going to go ahead and get the clear, this is clear ultrafine powder. This is the Simon Says Stamp brand that I like. We'll get that on there. Okay, so you can kind of see it looks cloudy. And then I'm going to turn on my heat gun and let it warm up a minute before I get it on the vellum. Just give it a minute, or I say a minute, but give it a few seconds to heat up. And then I like to start at the back, especially with vellum. You can see it's already turning. And then I'll just do a little bit on the front, just to kind of really seal it in. But look at that. And now I don't have to worry about if my ink's going to dry on the vellum. And it really just makes that sentiment pop and look a bit brighter and crisper. Tony has a very sweet question. She asked if I have an affiliate with Newton's Nook. And the answer is no. Newton's Nook, I don't believe has an affiliate program. But I appreciate you asking. That's why I linked to the Simon Says Stamp website, but I do know they're out of stock. If you want to put a little note in your order that you were enabled, I know Jennifer Jackson, one of the owners of Newton's Nook, would get a kick out of seeing that. But no. So thank you for asking, Tony. I put all of my affiliate links on my website. There's a page in the menu called Genabler Faves. And that's where I put all of my affiliate links. And I'm actually going to do a blog post. I got to get through Crop on the Cape registration this weekend, but I'm going to do a blog post early next week, just reminding you guys, because I know there's going to be a lot of holiday sales going on. So if you're shopping with a brand or a company that I've inspired you with, you could always start with my link and then go shop their sale, and I would get credit for it. And I always appreciate that. A bright rainbow goal is to switch more crafters to the CMYK color wheel than the basic RGB. So I'm thinking about that, Megan. I think this is a CMYK rainbow, right? Or no? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. I mean, I know what you mean by that because I went to school for graphic design, but I'm getting confused. Let me know some more details on that. My brain might just not be working like it should. All right, so I'm just gently taking these pieces off the tape, and this tape will not go to waste. This is why I like to use the Best Ever Craft tape instead of washi tape, because I'm going to get multiple uses out of this now. I'll stick this, I'm actually going to stick it to my phone stand right now, but I will stick it to my die cut machine and use it. I'll rip it into smaller pieces, and I'll use it to hold my dies in place when I'm doing my die cutting. If Jack doesn't jump up here and pull it off and run away with it first, because he does that a lot. So CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, and I'm not sure what the K is. Oh, my brain's hurting. I'm going to stop talking but I'm just trying to think what. Tell me, Megan, tell me in the comments what distress ink colors you would do for a CMYK rainbow. There we go. All right, so we're gonna glitter all of the things, you guys. I've got my quickie glue pen. I think it was, oh no, maybe it was the stamp along for Hero Arts. I was down to the last drop of my quickie glue pen, so I've got a brand new one. Oh, nothing like a brand new quickie glue pen. Remember, you guys, I store my quickie glue pen tip down in a cup. Use it once a month, and it will not clog or dry up on you. I've never, ever had a problem. And I'm using Lawn Fawn Prisma glitter. I recommend getting 2 jars of the Lawn Fawn glitter and putting it in a bigger container. So mine is like a sandwich size container, like a slice of bread. You got to have a big enough container to contain the mess. Ultrafine glitter does not need to be messy. So I just did that white scallop, and then I just traced a couple of the lines on the straw. Super cute. Thank you, Tracy. So cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. That's what K is. Thank you. These are colors used in every printing process. I used to tell people to look close at their TV guide because you could see the 4 colors. You totally could. We don't have those anymore. All right. Then I'll do these in rainbow order as well, just so I kind of stay on track here. So for the red cup, I actually just traced the right side of the heart, just kind of where the shadow is. You can use tweezers for this. I do use tweezers, but I don't faithfully use tweezers for everything, so I just use my fingers. And actually, my tweezers have been missing for a couple months now. I don't know where they are, which is really weird because usually those types of tools go right in my drawer next to me. But for the yellow cup, I'm doing this white band along the top. Okay. And the quickie glue pen comes out blue, but it does dry clear. For the green cup, I'm tracing the lines of this snowflake, which this is one of the prime reasons why I love this quickie glue pen, is I can trace these little lines. And I'm going to bring it up to camera and hopefully show you guys before I put it in the glitter. But you can really see how it really just traces those lines. It doesn't goo out everywhere. It's a really nice fine detail, which is what I love about the quickie glue pen versus using like stickles, which I do use stickles too, but I just love the detail you can get. Now the snowman mug, I'm going to trace the shadow that I put on the snowman and the hillside. I'm going to trace the snowflakes on the cup. And then I'm just going to trace that shadow of the candy cane, just that inner line. Super cute. And then on the purple mug, I actually had a hard time deciding what to do with the purple mug. I don't know, nothing really stood out at me. So what I did on the card here is I just kind of did a little bit on the right side. I think I'll just keep it like that. I was just contemplating tracing the shape of Harley, but I don't think I want to do that. So I'm just doing a little bit on the right side of the mug and dipping that in. The other thing that I love about the Quickie Glue pen is once you put that glitter on it, it's pretty much dry. It's not going to smear on you. So you're able to start assembling your card right away. We're learning all kinds of stuff about CMYK tonight. I love it. Okay, yeah, Sharna's saying, yes, pinks, teals, purples instead of red, green, blue. Oh, yeah. I never do a rainbow with red, green, blue. It's always pinks, teals, purples. Aw, thanks, Margot. That's so sweet of you. She sent a note to Newton's Nook that I inspired her. I appreciate that. Why are you doing a big declutter on Saturday, Sharna? Did I miss another comment that you said about that? All right, so now what I'm going to do is, the other tricky thing about vellum is adhesive will show through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my little images across with foam squares, and then I'm going to flip this over and put foam squares behind those images so that you won't be able to see where everything is popped up. So let me grab my foam squares. Oh, don't be sorry, Megan. I understood what you were saying. My brain is a little slow today, so I wasn't sure. I was having a hard time processing it. All right, so we have, I think, 7 little cups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So yellow is the 7th. It's the center. And you can see I'm laying my stitched rectangle on the card, just getting an idea of the border that I have, because the cups are going to go off the edge of the stitched rectangle a little bit. So I'm going to start by adding my yellow mug in the center. I'm just going to eyeball it. You could most certainly use a ruler if you wanted to, but I'm just going to place this down. Okay. And then I'm just going to work my way out. So I'm going to go to my green cup. Now I'm using the little foam squares and I'm just putting a couple in the center, because then this way, as I'm working my way out, I can tuck and overlap, right? I could honestly overlap way over here if I wanted to. But that way, because the foam squares are just in the center, I have that leeway to be able to play around with the placement, okay? And we're going to add the teal mug. Again, keeping those foam squares at the center. Ooh, a Tim Holtz cart. That sounds exciting. So see, with this teal mug, I'm able to tuck the handle under the green mug because those foam squares are down the center. Hopefully that makes sense. Now we get to our purple mug. And this one is definitely going to go off the edge, But because I'm laying it over my background, I can play with it to figure out how to make it fit. So I kind of put it at an angle there. Okay. Ooh, thank you, Sheila. I forgot glitter on this guy. I went out of color order and I forgot it. Yes, there's glitter on all of the things, Sheila. You know the answer to that. So for this one, I just traced the bottom where I did the shadow on the whipped cream. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I would have been so sad if I saw that. Not that I couldn't have added it later, but you know. Thank you, thank you. All right. I love it. That big, bold question was so easy for me to see. So this one, I'm going to overlap on the front of the yellow mug. And we've got red. I'm going to tuck that handle underneath, kind of do a little angle action. And then we've got this pink one. I think these are the cutest little mugs ever, you guys. Jennifer really outdid herself designing these ones. They're just so cute. I don't know why I didn't use this set earlier. All right, so now we've got these in place. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over and now put foam squares behind the mugs to adhere this to my card. And in this case, I'm going to use bigger ones. And then this way, we don't have to worry about vellum adhesive. I have yet to find any vellum adhesive that I like personally. I'm going to cut one in half. Let's see. Sheila, horrors. Kathy says, when you wash the inky flour sacks, will the ink run or stain other items washed with the sacks? So Kathy, I never wash my flour sack cloth once I've started using it. I just meant earlier, wash your flour sack cloth when you first buy it, because then it'll be more absorbent. But after that, I never put mine in the wash. I pretty much use them forever, honestly. The one I had in my lap today, I always have two, because if I get one really wet, but like this one is so loved, and it's crusty with gesso and paints and glue. I'll wipe my hands off with glue or paste, but I never wash it, ever. When I'm done, maybe I could give them to Chris and he could use them for like rags in the garage. But I've had that flour sackcloth here in my studio probably since we moved back to the Cape 5 years ago, and I haven't washed it. All right, we're gonna place this down centered. And there we go, you guys. It's a hot chocolate kind of day. Oh, I love it. So cute. So cute, right? No, I feel like you could still see Xyron behind vellum, and that's just my personal choice. Because sometimes Xyron, even though it does lay adhesive down smoothly on the back, there's still some areas where it might not lay down correctly. Tony's suggesting that she does wash hers separate because she doesn't use fabric softener on them, but I have accidentally put them in with my regular clothes and no running or staining. So that's good to know. Sharna says she only likes vellum adhesive if you're covering the whole thing, but it does get more transparent. Good to know. Heidi says, it's too pretty. I love my clothes. They are works of art themselves. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, now I need hot cocoa, right? Don't you want to just have like a cup of hot cocoa? I do. Awesome. Well, you guys, that is it for tonight. I do just want to mention that next month I will be live in December. And December's Get Crackin' on Christmas. It's going to be the third Thursday of the month. I always post my card on the third Thursday of the month. The lives sometimes change, and I always try to post a schedule with a few months ahead of time so you guys can kind of plan. But December's live will be on the third Thursday of December. I don't remember the date of that. Somebody could look at the calendar and let me know. But we are going to have some giveaways. So I always post links to some of my crafty friends who are posting at the same time as me. And we are going to do a bunch of giveaways. So stay tuned for that. I thought it would be really fun to finish off the year with some prizes. And I'm seeing the comments. Yep, I forgot my steam. We'll do that. They're already die cut and stamped. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Thanks, you guys. See, I'm just making sure you're paying attention. Right? Where did my small squares go? So I have 3 little steams that I stamped and die cut from the set. And I kind of just put them, you know, one on the left, one on the middle, one on the right. December 15th. Thank you, guys. I was going to say 17th, but December 15th is the third Thursday of the month. So I always post my card at 8 a.m., which might be good to know in case you're Janabled and need to buy all the things before they got a stock, clearly. And then I will be live at 8 p.m. here on my YouTube channel. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video and you'll give it a thumbs up. Hopefully you're subscribed to my channel. And there we go. We got the steam, you guys. We're all good. We are all good. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a fabulous, fabulous weekend. If you're here in the States and you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a nice Thanksgiving. And I will catch you guys all soon.